Good afternoon, everyone. We will start a new system, that is endocrine system. Okay, endocrine system. So the study of hormones secreted by a special glands, that is a ductless gland, we known as endocrinology. Okay, the study of the hormones. So mainly the study of hormones is called endocrinology. Structure and functions of endocrine glands. Okay, and the role of their secretion, that is a hormone, is a chemical integration of the organism. The main thing is in our body there are two systems is very important. One is the nervous system and another one is endocrine system. Okay, so the neurons will give the signals and that will give the signals, and the hormones the endocrine in the form of hormones, so it acts the chemical messengers. Okay, chemical messengers, so that will go to a target body and exhibit its function. Okay, so that is a hormone which is secreted into the blood by endocrine gland. So endocrine glands are a special glands that is mainly secrete the hormones. Okay, so not all the glands is secreting the same hormone. So the, for example, the thyroid gland secrete the thyroid hormone. Okay, so like that. So if it receive the signals, okay, if the gland receive the signals, so it will secrete the hormones into the blood vessels. Okay, so through the blood, so as a blood acts as a mediator, so and carry towards the, it will go to target organs. Okay, it will going to the target organs, that is a distant target organs, and perform its function. Okay, the cell will perform its function. So like that its hormone function. So next coming to the what is a hormone. Okay, so now you know the endocrine gland secrete hormone. Okay, so these hormones are a chemical messenger that is produced by one cell or a group of cells, secreted directly into the bloodstream and transported to distant target cells. We call it as a target cells. So that will elicit a physiological response. So that means the hormones is a chemical messenger that is produced by a group of cell or a one cell by the gland, directly pour into the blood vessels. Okay, so through the blood it is transported to target cells and exhibit its physiological response. For example, the anterior pituitary gland secrete growth hormone. So the growth hormone, when it is required, the growth hormone is secreted into the blood, so it will reach the bones and this is an example. Okay, so it will increase the length of the skeleton or a bone. So like that it is performing. Okay, same thing. So endocrine is secreting, so through the blood going to the target cells. So in the kidney, so in the biological effect it is exhibited. So after that the hormone will going to for degradation, so either in kidney, okay, so or in the liver. So all the steroidal hormones is going to the liver for degradation. That is, so it will, so now we will see the which are the endocrine glands. So all the endocrine glands, so the endocrine glands are, one is, this is the this is the pituitary glands. Okay, so pituitary gland, so this pituitary gland is mainly contain anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary gland. Okay, anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary gland. The next this is a thyroid gland. Okay, so thyroid gland, the behind there is a four parathyroid glands are present. Okay, so in the behind the thyroid there is a parathyroid gland is present. Next, so in the kidney, so you can see there is a cap like structure above, that is called suprarenal gland, okay, or adrenal gland. Suprarenal gland or adrenal gland. So in physiology we will use the adrenal gland, okay. So that is above the kidney. There is a, suppose this is the kidney, so there is a cap like structure is there, so, okay. So this is a renal gland, this is a suprarenal gland or adrenal gland. Next is pancreas. So pancreas, you know, it has a two functions. One is the endocrine and exocrine function. So in the endocrine function, it will secrete the hormones like insulin and glucagon. So those are the glands. So very important, okay. So in performing its function, physiological action. So next is coming to the sex gland, that is one is a ovary. So ovary, there are a pair of ovary is present, okay, on both the side in the female, okay. In a female, the ovary is a sex hormone. So mainly it produces sex hormone like estrogen and progesterone in female only, okay, in female. So other than other glands are same in male and female. Next is the testis. So testis is a male gland, male sex hormones is mainly secrete a male sex hormone, that is testosterone, okay, testosterone. So all these hormones are mainly regulated by hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is mainly present in the brain, right? So to that hypothalamus there is a below that the pituitary gland is present. So this hypothalamus, it has a many releasing hormone, okay. So it has a many releasing hormone. Mainly it control almost all the endocrine glands, okay. Suppose growth hormone is mainly produced by anterior pituitary, so by releasing hormone, all are releasing hormone. That means, so from the hypothalamus the signal will go to thyroid gland. So from the thyroid gland it will release the thyroxine, so otherwise it will not release the hormone like that. So these are the hormones produced by hypothalamus. So that is not that much important. So next, anterior pituitary gland, okay, anterior pituitary gland. So mainly secrete the growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone TSH, gonadotropin, that is FSH and LH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, prolactin, melanocyte stimulating hormone. So there are 6 hormones produced by anterior pituitary gland. So for you to study, only the growth hormone is there, okay. So for your exam, so only the growth hormone action and deficiency. So in all the glands, so you have to read the its biological action, okay, or function. So then clinical or deficiency or excess secretion. So what are the clinical things, clinical disease will occur. So like that you have to study. So these are the hormones produced by anterior pituitary gland. So next come the posterior pituitary gland, mainly secrete antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin, okay. Antidiuretic hormone, you know the ADH mainly acts on the renal tubules, so that one. Then oxytocin. Next, the thyroid glands are T3, T4, calcitonin. Parathyroid glands mainly secrete parathyroid hormone. Adrenal cortex. So we divide the adrenal gland, a suprarenal gland, into adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex secrete cortisol, aldosterone and dehydroepiandrosterone. Okay. Adrenal medulla secrete adrenaline and noradrenaline. Pancreas mainly secrete the insulin and glucagon. Then the gonads mainly secrete estrogen and progesterone by ovary, and the testosterone by testis. Okay. So that is a small introduction to endocrine. So next come to the hormone regulation. So suppose if it is secreted more or if it is less, the deficiency of this hormone will have many harmful effects will be taking place in our body. So their secretion also mainly regulated by a two mechanism, okay, that is a feedback loop. One is a negative and positive feedback, okay, negative and positive feedback mechanisms. So this will alter the rate of synthesis or release of the hormone. So the negative feedback and positive feedback. So feedback means when the concentration of the hormone in circulation can regulate its own secretion by acting through the hypothalamus or pituitary or both. So that means what will happen here, so suppose for example the thyroid gland is there, okay, it has to secrete T3, T4, okay, T3 and T4. Suppose if this is hormone is excess in circulation in the blood, if it is excess, so it will either inhibit by it will stimulate the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is always controlling, it is the regulating center, okay, or anterior pituitary. It give a feedback to hypothalamus and anterior pituitary to stop or to decrease the secretion. So that is called negative feedback. So there are two things are there. So this is an example for negative feedback mechanism. The first, the hypothalamus is release thyroid releasing hormone, okay, thyroid releasing hormone. Next, this is a TSH that is produced by anterior pituitary, thyroid stimulating hormone. This is releasing, this is stimulating. So it is go and stimulate the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland synthesis T3 and T4, okay. So this T3 and T4 thyroxine will go to target tissue to perform its function. Suppose if it is excess, T3, T4 is excess in the blood, so what it will do? So it will inhibit the hypothalamus and anterior pituitary. That is called negative feedback mechanism, okay. Negative means it is inhibiting, stopping, okay, it is inhibiting the TRH and TSH release. So then only the thyroid gland will release this hormone only if they get signals from anterior pituitary and hypothalamus, okay. So it will stop synthesis. That is called negative feedback mechanism. So another one is a positive feedback mechanism. So in the positive feedback mechanism, there is an increase in free form of hormone in circulation. It will lead to increased secretion of the same hormone, okay. So for example here the positive, so gonadotropic releasing hormone, so that will LH will release. Suppose in the ovary, so ovary release a progesterone and progesterone hormones. So now if the progesterone and progesterone hormone increases, suppose it is a positive feedback, so it will stimulate again and again to this hypothalamus and anterior pituitary to release a more hormone from the ovary, that ovulation has to take place. So like that. So another example I will tell in that class, okay. So next class, that is the regulation of secretion of the hormones. So next coming to the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus by two system, one is hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. Portal system means it is connected to blood vessels, okay, it is connected to blood vessels. Then hypothalamo-hypophyseal tract, that is through nervous regulation. Okay, you can see here So this is the hypothalamus, this is pituitary gland. Okay, so the hypothalamus through one is a portal system, another one is through nervous mechanism, it is controlling. So the first gland is a pituitary gland. So we are studying. So pituitary gland, so mainly, so these the name of the hormones is very important. So they will ask in the exam. Okay, just name the hormones of anterior pituitary. Clear? Okay. So but the explanation only the growth hormone is enough. So anterior pituitary, anterior lobe mainly secrete the growth hormone. Okay, growth promoting effect. Then ACTH act on the adrenal cortex. TSH act on the thyroid gland. FSH and LH both act on gonads, okay, testes and ovary. Then the prolactin act on the mammary gland. The first one, the growth hormone. So growth hormone is a peptide hormone. Okay, so its action can be divided into two types: indirect growth promoting action and direct anti-insulin action. Okay, it has a two action, so indirect effect and direct effect. So indirect effect because so it act on the liver, and helps in the release of insulin like growth factor 1. Okay, so by releasing the somatostatin, so act on the bones, so that is indirect action. So the direct action, directly it act on the fats and increase the glucose in the body. So we will see each one. So the first one is the indirect growth promoting action. So it is due to the action of growth hormone on liver. Okay, so indirect action act on the liver. Okay, act on the liver. So in the liver, so the liver, so when the growth hormone stimulate the liver will secrete insulin like growth factor or somatomedin. Okay, so somatomedin C. So this somatomedin C act on the skeletal and extraskeletal compartment. We will see what is the skeletal compartment. Okay, so this somatomedin act on epiphyseal plate which is present between the long bones. Okay, so in the long bones there is a epiphyseal plate. Okay, epiphyseal plate is present. So this epiphyseal plate gets widened, so it will give the space for chondrogenesis of the long bones. So chondrogenesis is formation of the new bone cells. Okay, so it will deposit here and it will increase the long bones will grow linearly. Okay, so long bones, somatomedin act on epiphyseal plate which is present between the long bones and increase the chondrogenesis of the bone. So that will increase the height of the bones, so long bones. So hence the height of the person will increases. So the long bones can grow only up to the age of 18 to 20 years only. Okay, so up to 18 to 20 years only the long bones will go. So because of the epiphyseal, the fusion of epiphysis with the shaft. So after that, once the fusion occurs of this long bone, so the growth hormone loses its ability to increase the length of the bones. So hence, so after puberty, the person height, okay, the length of the height will not increase. So because of the fusion of the epiphysis with the shaft, so the growth hormone or somatomedin can't act on that place. Okay. So but the growth hormone strongly stimulate the osteoblast, the bone continues become thick throughout the life. Okay, the thickness of the bone will increases, but not the length of the bone. So extraskeletal means apart from the bone, action on bone, it also increase the general growth of the organ and tissue. Okay, by stimulating the mitotic cell division and hypertrophy, the cell size increases. So there will be increased protein synthesis, because of which it bring about the positive nitrogen balance. So these are not required. Okay, so just up to here you write. So this is the extraskeletal action. So it is generally refers to the growth of the organ and tissues. Okay, so that is a skeletal and indirect action in that skeleton and extraskeletal compartment. So direct anti-insulin action, indirect action. So what I told on the liver, somatomedin, skeletal increase the chondrogenesis, extraskeletal increase the protein synthesis. Direct action, so it acts on the fat, okay, acts on the fat or fat metabolism, increased lipolysis. Lysis means breakdown. Okay, so it acts on the adipose tissue and hence increase the break. It causes the breakdown of lipids like fatty acid, triglycerides. It will break down. Okay, on carbohydrate metabolism, it will increase the. It is a hyperglycemic action agent. So hence it increase the blood glucose level. Okay, by decreasing the peripheral utilization of the glucose. Okay, so that means peripheral utilization means other organs will not utilize us. It will prevent and increase the gluconeogenesis in liver. Okay, so these are the action of growth hormone. So the next one is abnormalities in growth hormone secretion. So abnormalities of growth hormone either may be hypersecretion or hyposecretion of growth hormones. In a hyposecretion, that means hypo means decrease. Okay, always hypo means decrease. So what will happen if the growth hormone decreases? So we can see that is dwarfism. Okay, so the height of the person will be less or small stature. That is called Laurent dwarfism. So that is mainly because here the growth hormone secretion is normal. Okay, but always the growth hormone indirectly act on the liver to secrete the somatomedin. Okay, so here the hereditary inability to form a somatomedin in response to growth hormone. The liver is not producing the somatomedin. Somatomedin will go and act on the long bones to increase the length of the bone, right? So here what will happen? Hereditary. So it is a through a it is a hereditary form, means through a genetic genetic it is carrying. So hence there is a small stature can be seen. So their reproductive ability is normal. Okay, short stature. Okay, then there is no mental retardation, the person is normal. So it is different from the thyroxine deficiency. In the thyroxine deficiency also the person is small stature, but there it is mentally retarded, but here mental retardation is not present. Okay, he is normal in every all the functions of the body. He is normal. Then the sexual growth, the individuals generally have the ability to reproduce. Okay, so there is no problem in the reproductive capacity. So next, coming to the hypersecretion of growth hormone. So hypersecretion can be divided into two types. So one is a gigantism. Okay, so gigantism can be seen in the children. Okay, so in adult that is acromegaly. Okay, so these two are very important. So gigantism is due to excessive secretion of growth hormone level prior to epiphyseal fusion. So that means as I told, before puberty these long bones will grow. There is no fusion is taking place between the bones. There is no fusion. So epiphyseal, we call it epiphyseal fusion is not taking place before puberty. So if the growth hormone will be increasing more. So after that, so that will leads to gigantism. Okay, excessive growth hormone secretion before puberty. So after puberty, so the excessive growth hormone secretion is taking place, but there is no change in the height will not grow after puberty, but some other changes can be seen. That is called acromegaly. Okay, so gigantism. So this is the gigantism. So here characteristic, there is a tall stature that is above 8 feet. Okay, so above 8 feet the person will reach. Then bilateral gynecomastia. So bilateral means on both the side there is a development of breast. Okay, then loss of libido or impotent. So the person has lost his ability to reproduce. Okay, that is called impotence. So both in male and female, so both you can see. So I am giving the example only male. So in both gender, male and female, so gigantism will occur. Next, hyperglycemia. So mainly the growth hormone decrease the, it is anti-insulin or it decrease the blood glucose level, right? So hence it will leads to here excess growth hormone secretion. So hyperglycemia, that is high blood glucose level. So these are the symptoms. Next coming to acromegaly. So acromegaly here, so here hypersecretion of the hormone after puberty. Okay, so we can see here there is enlargement of acral part, that is hand and feet. Okay, enlargement of hand and feet you can see. So next, prognathism. Okay, so prognathism. So prognathism means you can see here the chin. So there is a protrusion of mandible. Okay, protrusion of mandible, that is called prognathism. Next, bitemporal hemianopia. So the visual defect can be seen. Okay, then in the vertebral column also there is a osteoarthritic vertebral changes. Okay, you can see here kyphoscoliosis we call, there is a bending can be seen. Okay, in the vertebral column there is a changes. Then buffalo hump, we call it as buffalo hump also. Then hirsutism, this increase the growth of hairs on the trunk and here. Okay, so that is called hirsutism. Also gynecomastia and lactations can be seen. Okay, that is enlargement of breast in male, and also milk secretion can be seen. So because it mainly the growth hormone can act certain extent, it also like prolactin hormone. So gynecomastia and lactation. Gynecomastia is development of breast, enlargement of breast in male. Okay, then hirsutism is formation of hair growth in chest and trunk. So these are the symptoms of acromegaly. So that's complete the growth hormone. So in the growth hormone, very important. So in anterior pituitary you have to learn all the names of 6 hormone. Okay, then growth hormone, its action, okay, physiological action, and the deficiency and excess. So hypersecretion and hyposecretion. In hyposecretion it will lead to dwarfism. In hypersecretion before puberty gigantism, after puberty it will lead to acromegaly. Okay, thank you.